Thanks for tuning in to Island Karate. I'm Sensei Valdivia. I have a really cool technique today that features my favorite of the old ancient samurai weapons, and that is the katana. I have always had a fascination with the katana since I was a boy. I remember begging my mother at a very young age to buy me one. I was probably way too young, and then one led to another that led to another. So that led to many sword racks full. Along with the fascination of the katana also came fascination with the history and some of the applications and principles of weapon fighting. Now, one thing I always like to mention when it comes to weapons is I ask my students, well, how many weapons do I have at my disposal? And oftentimes they say, well, one. The answer is I have many, even if I'm holding one physical weapon. Yes, I'm holding a sword, but I also have my other hand, my feet, my knees, my elbows, my head, my mouth, my body. I'm holding an infinite amount of weapons. And it's how you utilize them in a fight that allows you to have infinite versatility and an upper hand. So today I'm going to show you a simple technique that utilizes not only the sword, but the body as well. Let me begin. So, let's start. For some of you guys, this may be in addition to some of the martial arts that you're training in traditional katana arts. Now, I will say this. You will have to know how to execute a proper draw and a proper downward cut for the sake of this drill. But for those of you who want to just have fun at home, you can follow along and you'll get the gist of the technique. All right, and some of my guys in the Armored Combat League, you'll understand this. So, I begin by drawing. Okay, from here, I'm going to execute a downward cut. Okay, downward cut to the crown of my opponent's head. From here, I'm going to act as if my downward cut was stopped by an upward block of some kind, causing my sword to bind on top of their strike. Now, if my opponent has blocked my strike, it has left his midsection open. Common practice says, well, we can divert our strike to an actual cut. But what if we're not so lucky? What if we want to utilize that bind to create maybe a less lethal damage or to set up an even stronger lethal strike with the sword? Now, I'm going to do the move itself. So again, I begin with a downward cut. Boom! It stopped my opponent's attack. I'm going to execute a left front kick underneath. Boom! Just like so. Right to the solar plexus or right to the groin. If I can, I'd even go up towards the face. Again, execute. Boom! Hey! Just like so. Hey! Good. Now, let's break it down. I've stepped in with Fumokumi to do my downward cut. Boom, it's stopped. The second my sword is stopped, I'm going to make sure my right foot is planted, and with a nice chamber, I'm going to snap a front kick to my opponent. Boom. I can even do this move as a setup. I know I'm going to downward strike, right? So I know I can set up a combo. Boom. Just like so. Couple notes of caution, guys. We make sure that when you do the strike, that you don't kick and cut at the same time when you're beginning to learn this combo. Reason being obvious. Don't split your foot in half, guys. That's going to be very bad and very, very painful, and you might feel extremely, extremely silly. So make sure that when you stop, the first cut, you cast out and stop at eye level, and that mimics the bind of the sword. The front snap kick it will give you enough room to execute the front snap kick out. So again, boom, eye level, left kick, return. Now, for those of you guys who do armored combat fighting, you probably aren't going to have the luxury of executing a front ball kick. A front ball kick is really good for penetrating soft targets. So if they're wearing clothing or a gambeson or a gi, then you can execute the front ball kick. If you're up against someone in armor, you're probably going to have to do a push kick. And the push kick utilizes the entire flat of the foot and drives from the hip out. Also using the power of the heel. So you can either front kick with the front ball kick or push kick. If you land forward, that's okay too. Again, last time. Now with the push kick. Thank you guys. I hope you really enjoyed this technique. I love sword combat. I also always have to remind myself that although the sword is the primary weapon, it is not the only weapon. Now, remember, if you are up against someone with a sword and they're technically skilled, they will slash at the limbs that you're throwing at them. So make sure that if you're going to be practicing cuts and body strikes at the same time, that you know how to time them properly. You know how to look for openings so you don't lose an arm or a leg. All right, guys, I hope you enjoy this. I'll have more weapons videos to come. And thank you for joining me in this sacred forest on Lanai in Hawaii. See you soon.